Cinema is a visual medium. Much of the way we tell the story is through the use of visual language. What the actors say on screen is very important for our story, but in many ways, their dialogue is less than half of the clues we need to decode the full depth of our film. Much of the greater meaning of any movie lives in the visual details. We organize the visual language of cinema through the use of mise en scène. Mise en scène is the concept we use to refer to the way we place objects inside the frame, to create meaning for the viewer. As human beings, we are meaning makers. Our social worlds are full of symbols that stand in for larger concepts. We function with a kind of visual shorthand. For example, we understand that when a traffic light turns red, we must stop. So the color red symbolically represents the command, stop. Cinema takes advantage of our collective understanding of various symbols and uses them to create the rich experiences we call movies. The mise en scène of a movie has several elements, including actors, props, costumes, lighting, and color. Through these elements, we can convey a tremendous amount of information without the actors ever uttering a single word. Look at the image here. What do you see? In the image, we can see that our character is walking through a park, a public space, in what seems to be a large city, given the large space and ornate lamps. The season is winter, and it must be snowing or raining because he's carrying an umbrella. By the accumulation of snow, it's been winter for a while. We suspect our character is male, given the stance and attire. We also know our character is important because they are right in the center of the frame. They are alone on their walk. We could use a shot like this to convey solitude, thoughtfulness, or a character's journey toward new experiences. The tone is subdued. There are no bright colors, which could also tell us a great deal about our character's state of mind. Mise en scène allows us to speak without words. Mise en scène encompasses the most recognizable features of a film, the setting and the actors. It includes costumes and makeup, props, and all other details which characterize the space within the frame. The term mise en scène is borrowed from a French theatrical expression, meaning roughly, place on stage. In other words, mise en scène describes the objects within the frame and how they are shown or arranged. Setting creates both a sense of place and a mood, and it may also reveal something about a character's emotional state or internal world. Setting can be entirely fabricated within a studio, or it may also be found and filmed on location. Three-point lighting consists of a key light, a fill light, and a backlight. This arrangement provides even illumination of the scene and is the most commonly used lighting scheme in a typical narrative film. The light comes from three directions, and it provides the subject with a sense of depth in the frame, and it eliminates all but fairly light shadows. In the example of Breakfast at Tiffany's, the characters and environment are evenly illuminated. Very light shadows can be seen in the background, but they are not so heavy that we attribute any meaning to them. High key lighting involves increasing the fill lighting to the same level as the key lighting. This creates a scene that is very bright and soft, with few shadows in the frame. Musicals and comedies tend to employ high key lighting. The frames here represent an excellent example of high key lighting used in the musical The Wizard of Oz from 1939. The characters and scenery are all brightly lit, and there are no existing shadows. Low-key lighting, most effective in film noir productions and gangster films, creates a very dark and mysterious atmosphere by obscuring light. In this strategy, the fill light is very low, which allows the creation of dark shadows within the frame. An example of low-key lighting can often be seen in the work of Orson Welles. This lighting strategy was used extensively throughout his film noir Touch of Evil in 1958. Welles also featured low-key lighting in several scenes of Citizen Kane, produced in 1941. Costume includes makeup and wardrobe choices used to convey a character's personality or status and to signify the differences between characters. Costume is also important in telling us what era a film is set in. In biographical films, a costume is an important aspect of making an actor resemble a historical character. For example, in Frida, the actress Selma Hayek was dressed in Mexican garb consistent with the 1940s and given a fake unibrow to more closely resemble the painter Frida Kahlo. The mise-en-scène of a film serves the story, drives the mood, and tells us important details about our characters and the worlds they inhabit. Mise-en-scène can also tell us about the genre or type of film we are watching. A horror film has a very different mise-en-scène from a comedy romance. While both a comedy film and a horror film use the very same visual elements, light, color, costume, actors, and space, they use these elements in very different ways. Look at the image here. What do you see? Where a comedy romance would use bright lighting and bright colors throughout the frame, a horror movie might have a style closer to the image we see here. A greater use of shadows to suggest things hidden from not just our view, but from the view of the characters in our story. Pools of light or shafts of light bounded by shadow is an interesting way for filmmakers to suggest that just as the light is limited, so too is our knowledge. An understanding of mise-en-scène and the visual elements it employs is integral to understanding the art of film.